target database. In real time, we will not be doing any such kind of things because everything will be by the database administrators. Okay, they will just give the table names and they will just give the path of the database. Okay, so we will just use the path and the table structure and load the data. We need to start from the basics, right? So we will be need to create everything like by ourselves. It's better to create by ourselves. You will just once you go into the real time, you'll have what is ODBC connection and what is relational connection and everything. So these connections are used to the front end and the back end database. So we need to have some interface to connect to the back end database and read the data, right? So for connecting the back end database from front end application, so we'll be using the ODBC connections. So when we create ODBC connections, we need to read the data from source table and write the data into the target table, target database table. Okay. So for that, we need to create ODBC connection for source and target. And just create new ODBC connection for source first and then for target. You can do that. Go panel. Panel will find like data source ODBC, system DSM, add which are there in my system, select, or as you are working with Oracle, select Oracle from the list, then just have SQL Server or Teradata, your Teradata control. So if Teradata is installed, your system can use Teradata.
This is inside the virtual machine, right?
Yeah, it's completely inside. I am working with inside the virtual machine. So we can finish. Now to ask for the driver configuration. So I just want to give the ODBC connection. ODBC connections. I just maintain a document so that it is better to reference for future when we go into the practical part. So ODBC connections. Source. I'll just change this to underscore and over here, and the target username is like create ODBC connection for target database and source database. So I just maintain this document for my better reference. So this document is create. So I'm just giving for source now. Source. ODBC. It should be the same thing. ORs here. In your system, it will be Oracle. So just type Oracle over there. When just give the password as Scott. Just click test connection. So it will ask for the password. So for our source database, the password is Tiger. Now just click on OK. So it says like the connection is successful. So ODBC connection for source database is created. Now next we need to do the same thing again. Just we open it everything. So go to start menu in DMA system, go to control panel, go to administrative tools, select data sources ODBC, select system DSL, click on add. On the list of databases, select Oracle, click on finish. Target database, so this is my data source name, and service name is ORCL, and user is like Ganesh user. Username is Ganesh user, and when you click on test the connection, it will ask for the password, so you can just view. Now the connection is successful. That's how like we create the ODBC connections in the Informatica. So the document has the same thing. Okay, go to the start menu, control panel, administrative tool, data sources, ODBC, select system DSL, and it will open up a window. And we need to give the select the database, and from once you select, you need to give the name. It will ask for the password, so give this password and click on OK. We need to repeat this for target database also. So we need to do twice for target database. So I just established a connection between front-end application to the back-end database. So once that is done, we need to read the data, right? We need to read the data from source database and write the data into the target database. For that, we need to create relational connections. Okay, so for creating a relational connection, we can just use the Informatica tool. Okay, so Informatica tool allows us to create the relational connections. So how we create relational connections is like, go to Informatica Center Workflow Manager, go to Connections menu, select Relational, in that it will open up a window. In that list of databases, select Oracle and click on New. It will open up a window again asking for relational connections. So you can for source and you can just give some name, and you need to give username for source database and password. Click on OK. So that will clear the relational connection for source. And then you need to repeat for the target. Again, go to the connections menu, go to relations tab, and give or select Oracle and the username and password for target database. I'll just show this. You need to follow. So for that, I just again maintain a document. So relational connections.
Where are we mentioning the ODBC name, using the ODBC name?
When we use the Informatica, so when we start using the Informatica tool, I'll just show when we create the mapping. So to read the data, we need to give the, in the session properties, we need to give the relational connections or ODBC connections.
What is the use of this relational which you are creating now? Source.
I already said like ODBC connections are used to have the connection between the backend and the front-end application. Okay, yeah. Relational connection is established. For reading the data from the database, there should be some connection, right? So connection is established. For reading it from the source database and writing it into the target database, there should be some medium. After that, we need to create the relational connections.
Okay, but my thing is, my doubt is, in the relational connection, you're just or some name and giving Oracle, but you're not ODBC name, right? So how that source will know like to read it from this the Scott Tiger user, that is the source, because we are not referencing anything in the source password, or is it just like we are just creating like a setup?
We are just creating a setup right now. We did not use it. Once we go into the practical of Informatica, I'll show like where we use these connection links so that you see. I'll just show what else.
The relational. I'm just trying to understand the purpose of this relational connection just now you used. So it is just.
I'll show that. Okay, in the session properties. Okay, in the mappings tab. When we go with points, there will be a source table and a target table. Okay, in the source, we need to give this option. It will show up the Informatica reader. So for source, we are reading the data. Okay, so we should say Informatica like SQ_MP DB connection. Okay, so DB connection, so it should read the data. So it is connecting to the database, source database. Okay, and read that data from that database. So we are saying Informatica to read that data from that database using this relational connection.
Okay.
And in the target, we are just giving relational connection as writer. Writer is nothing but that is the meaning is like the meaningful. You are just given the name as a meaningful name so that we can just understand because we are reading the data from source database and writing the data into the target database.
Okay. Let's suppose if the target is different, then in the relational thing you will give that relational.
Obviously, we need to see. We are working only one database. We are working with one use, like Ganesh user as a target database and Spot user as a source database. In the real time, if there are any other database or any other target, the target table is changed. Obviously, they provide the relational connection for that database. We need to use that relational connection for that particular database and create the session. Okay, it varies from the database and the user. Okay, it will not be same for all the databases.
Okay, okay.
Okay, as we are working in a limited Oracle database, so we will have only one new relational connection and one source relational connection and one target relational connection. Okay, in the real time there will be different, because, but obviously they just give the relational connection corresponding to that database.
Okay.
Okay, by that we just give the session properties. In that session properties, we can just mention from which database you want to read the data and to which database you want to write the data. Okay.
Okay.
So for creating the relational connections, so I'll just create some new folder for practice part. So how do we create a new folder in the Informatica and use that in the so for any project, okay, when we get a new project, they just create a new folder in the for that complete project, so that everyone works on that folder and the work is saved on that folder. Okay, for creating a new folder, Informatica administrators will be creating this. Okay, as the Informatica developer will not be creating the folders and granting the permissions. Informatica administrators will create the folders, grant the permissions based on the requirement. Okay, so for creating a new folders, there is a tool like Informatica Power Center Repository Manager. Okay, here you find an option like folder, you can create. Okay, so you can just use some name, some project name. Okay, so that everyone works on that project and the work is saved remotely on that folder. Okay, so I just use some name, just click on OK. Okay, the folder has been successfully created. So this Informatica Power Center Repository Manager explicitly is used to create the folders and grant the permission for that folders. Okay, so once the folder is created, so we need to the new folder should be reflected in other components of the Informatica. So for that, you can just disconnect once the repository and connect the repository once. So click on connect. Now you can see there should be one folder created with Ganesh and as per user. Okay, this is a folder in Informatica Power Center. So what all the sources, the mappings, the transmission, the maplets, what all you create, that will be shared, that will be stored in this folder. Okay, and this is a designer tool. And in the workflow manager, so where we create sessions and everything. So here also the new folder should be get reflected. So let's disconnect the repository once and just connect it back so that the new folder gets reflected in this component. Take this. Here we will find sessions, workloads, and workloads. All the work we work on this folder, on this session, on this project, that will be saved in this folders. Okay, is that clear?
Okay, so the folder cannot be directly created in designer.
No, no, cannot be created. There is no option of creating here. You see, like there is no nothing option. These are like specified component which is used for purpose. See, Informatica Designer is used to create the mappings. We cannot create session and workflow using the designer. Okay, there is a component again called Informatica Workflow Manager, which is used to create the sessions and workflows. Okay. So a specific tool has its own role, so we need to use based on the requirement. Okay, once a folder is created, so now I just want to create relational connections. So how do we create relational connections? So we need to go to the Informatica Power Center Workflow Manager, go to Connections menu, go to Relational. Okay, so I am in my VMware Informatica Power Center Workflow Manager. Okay, I'll just connect to this folder. So click on it. Sorry. Okay, so I'm just in, so that this bold, the letters are in bold, right? So that means you are currently working in this folder. So if you work in some other folder and if you work on that folder, the things will be saved in this folder, the other folder. So to make sure that you are in the exact folder, the letter should be in bold. Okay, to make sure that you can just disconnect, and if you want to disconnect once, and once it is disconnected, you can just connect it back. So now just right click here, you can connect it. Okay, that shows like you are in that current folder, and go to the tools menu, click on task developer, so that it shows like the letters are bold, so that you are currently working in this folder. Okay, once that is done, now go to the connections menu, click on relational. Okay, it will show off all the databases listed in my computer. So I just want to select Oracle, as I am working, as my source system is Oracle and my target system is Oracle. Now select Oracle, click on new button. Okay, now it will pop up the window asking to give the relational connection for the source database. So I just want to have relational connection name as some name. Okay. Here for source and for target. As we are writing the data into the target, so I'll just give okay. So I'll just maintain this document so that it will be easy for me to refer in future. So Ganesh underscore reader. I am just creating for source. So for source, what is the username? So it's start. The password is Tiger. The connection string is ORCO. Okay, as I creating for me source database, I am just giving the credentials of my source database. Okay, so what is the username for the source database? It's star, and for password is Tiger. Okay, so once you click on OK, so you see like it's being created. The list and find. Okay, Ganesh user underscore reader. Okay, so for source we have created it, and now for target database. So again the same thing. Go to connections menu, Informatica Power Center Workflow Manager. Go to relational, select Oracle, click on new, and give the relational connection for target database. So underscore writer. So as we are writing the data in the target database, so it's writer. The username for the target database is user, and the password is EWH, and connection string is ORCL. In your system, it is Oracle. Try Oracle. If it doesn't work, you can just give Oracle, ORCL. Click OK. You can close. Now you can see the relational connection for source and target database are being created. Okay, Ganesh user underscore reader and Ganesh underscore user writer underscore writer. Okay, so that's how like we create relational connections of source and target database. So we have created the source database and target database, and source user and target user is ready, and my relational connection for source database and target database is ready, and ODBC connection for reading the data, establishing the connection between the front-end application Informatica to the back-end database. ODBC connections are created for source and target database. Okay, I am ready with my back-end process and everything. Now I can just go and use Informatica tool and create the mappings to load the data from one source database to the target database. Okay. Now everything, the back-end requirements or prerequisites before you start creating the mappings in Informatica, everything is ready. Okay. Now I will go to Informatica Core Center Designer and I start using the tools. So go to Informatica Core Center Designer, connect to your folder. Okay. Go to the tools menu, go to Source Analyzer. Okay. Go to Tools menu and go to Source Analyzer. Okay. In Informatica, you could see the target sources. All these folders are empty. Okay, to work with this, to transfer the data from source database to target database, there should be some tables, right? That table structure should be there. So for you doing that, we need to import the table from the backend application into the Informatica. Okay, how do we import the tables which are there in my backend table or backend database into the Informatica? Okay, that can be done by using Informatica Core Center Designer. Okay, now go to Informatica Core Center Designer, go to Tools menu, select Source Analyzer. You see the name here like Source Analyzer. Source Analyzer is used to import the source data and work with source data. And Target Designer is used to create target definitions and target tables. Okay, and also Transformation Developer is used to create transformations. And Maplet Designer is used to create maplets. Okay, and Mapping Designer is used to create mappings. Mapping is nothing but you transfer the pictorial representation or like diagrammatic representation of a data flow from the source table to the target table. Okay, it's a pictorial representation of a data flow diagram from source system to the target system. So now I just go to the Source Analyzer, okay, and import the data from source table into the Informatica. So how do we import the table which is there in my Oracle backend database into Informatica and use that in Informatica? So that can be done by using Informatica Core Center Designer. Is that clear, Ganesh?
Yeah.
Now go to Sources menu here. You will find there are options like import from database, import from file, import from mobile file, import XML definition. Okay, you can even find there is import from TIBCO repository, you can find import from PeopleSoft file, import from Sabre file. I already said Informatica can extract the data from any kind of files. So these are the options which are Informatica can support and read the data from these sources. Okay, you can even find Informatica or Excel, import from Salesforce, everything. You can import the data from any kind of files. So now I am working with my database, right, Oracle database. So I just want to import the table which is there in my backend database. So select import from database. Okay, it will open up the database, Oracle database. You need to give the ODBC connection for table, so which is there in the backend. So as I am importing my source table, so we need to give ODBC data source. What is ODBC data source for my source system? It is Ganesh user, right? I just now created it. Already reading the data, we need to establish the connection, right? So, what is the username for the source? Start. Okay, click on tab and tab. The password is Tiger. Okay, so click on connect. When you click on connect, it will show the list of tables which are there in the Scott user. Okay, these are the list of tables which are there in my Scott user database. Okay, now I just want to import one table, EMP, from the backend to the Informatica. So select EMP, click on OK. Now you can see the folder sources. You see this is the folder bin, table is being imported. Okay, this is how to import the table from backend to the Informatica and use them in the Informatica. Okay. Now the source table is imported, and next is we need to have target table also, right, in Informatica to work with. So now go to the target designer tab here. Okay, the same thing. Go to targets menu, import from database. Class for the ODBC connection for database. So this is my target database in ODBC connection, and username is Ganesh user. The password is UWH. You can connect. Any idea like how many tables will be there in this user?
Only one table.
Yeah, only one table, right? Only empty underscore target table will be there. Okay. Now I just import this table into the Informatica. Click on select it and click on OK. Okay, that is being imported into the Informatica. Now you can use these tables and create a mapping and load the data which is there in this EMP table into the EMP underscore target table. Okay. So this is how we work with Informatica tool and in creating the users, creating the relational connections, and importing the table from back into the front end. Okay. Now don't forget to save this. So go to repository and save it. Okay. So tomorrow I'll just have how do we create the mapping and how do we load the data which is there in the source table into the target table. Okay.
Okay.
That's the end of the session for today. So I'll just share this document. You can try to create. So do you want to have day-to-day practice, or like you like to have the complete practice on weekend?
Actually, I will have day to day because otherwise I will forget, I think.
Yeah, nothing because it's like it's better to have day-to-day because it's completely transferring between the windows, this window, cost center designer, then workflow manager, then the Informatica, the cost manager. So we'll be moving here and there, here and anyhow the recording will be there, but